department will be making some comments. We will slot him in at 8 o'clock where the fire department report is, since we don't have that. Will Greer, our representative, has joined us by Zoom, and will be making a few comments. And otherwise, it'll come up under the older new business. And I think that's it. Okay, so first up, we have the Corey family who wants to make a quick statement, I believe.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're happy to know that mediation is not about the money there for 26. Chance to get all settled without. Before you can mediate, you have to know what the mediation is at. There is some helpful information on the three permits for mediation. Now. That's for Matthew.
All right.
As a way of saying thank you, here is our kind gesture with Don Bailey's word to settle. Be fair. God knows the truth. The
We,
court.
much as your gesture is kind, it is against our new ethics to accept any kind of gifts. So appreciate your kindness and your gesture, but we do have to abide by our new ethics that
You can't give it to like the homeless people or something.
I wouldn't know where to take it. But if you do, please do that. Maybe there's a volunteer here who could do something like that, but otherwise I would ask you to take it back and
What do
maybe,
you need?
maybe find a neighbor.
What is the gift exactly?
It's, I don't know.
Would you like a cake?
What, a cake? I guess we could donate it to services.
Cake should go to waste.
Feel free.
Thanks.
And it can go over on that
Yeah,
desk.
you
if
can
you
set it
want.
on the desk right over there if you'd like.
Not in
You guys
front of,
head out.
yeah. Thank you for coming. Have a safe and nice evening.
You too.
All right, moving on then. Bennington College students, Nora Dyer Murphy and Pierce Miller are here. And they had some questions, I think general questions about how municipal governance works. Feel free to move your chairs up if you want. And Lori, I'm hoping, we do have also two folks, or at least Jenna Collier online. Jenna, if you ever want to make a comment, raise your hand. There's two people here helping me watch the computer, so we'll try not to ignore you. Okay. And Lori, I'm hoping that you're the one with the most experience and maybe you can answer some of these questions. Go ahead, all yours. This is exciting.
So I guess my first question is, I noticed that there's a Bennington town meeting and a North Bennington town meeting. If you are, in the village of North Bennington, like Bennington college students are, can you attend both town meetings?
Yes,
I could-
go ahead.
Town meetings are public, so, yeah, so anybody, whether you live in the municipality or not, can go to any town meeting you choose to. The voting restrictions, you have to be a legal resident of that municipality where the voting is being taken place, but you can go and observe
Any town meeting?
any town meeting in any municipality. The
Gotcha.
voting is where the restrictions start to take it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
There is though, if I may, maybe Lori can chime in here. When it comes to the village of North Bennington and voting on the town of Bennington warrant, Lori, can you explain that? How North Bennington people get to vote on that town of
So,
Bennington.
So the village of North Bennington is part of the town of Bennington, except the village of North Bennington is self-governed. The village of North Bennington does receive some services from the town of Bennington, and therefore if you are a resident of the village of North Bennington, you pay property taxes to both the village of North Bennington and the town of Bennington. So for example, our police services will come from the town of Bennington. There's a general budget that the village of North Bennington can access specific services from that we might not have within the village of North Bennington. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Yes.
Good.
100%.
Good.
Thank you. One question that I had, right, I know that in Vermont we have same-day registration. If only voters can vote in North Bennington town meetings, is there going to be same-day registration for those who are residents but haven't registered yet?
That would be a Lori question. Did you hear that? Is there same day
Um,
registration for someone?
We do. So this year, the North Bennington Graded School District just had their vote on March 3rd. Actually, I think I saw you there, or some of you there.
Yes.
And we did do 7 same-day voter registration packets. You have to have specific information with you in order for us to complete that form. And that would be like birth certificate or passport and forms of identification. So yes, we can do that. And they've really made it a little bit easier for us to do that. In the past, even 5 years ago, we weren't really able to do it as easily as we are now. And it was great because many of the people who wanted to do same day registration were Bennington College students, and they had the information they needed on hand. So it made it very nice, and they were able to vote.
Lori, does that same thing hold for our annual meeting, which is not a ballot? It's the floor vote, but.
It
will that
does.
same-
So I have packets of information that I will bring with me. And if that is something that, because if someone, often at our floor meetings, we've occasionally had to vote by ballot that we've
Yeah.
distributed. So, and we always have our, checklist with us. Now, I'm going to ask for an updated checklist because we had quite a few additions to ours on March 3rd. In the event that there are people next Tuesday who would like to vote, I need to make sure they're on that list.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
need
so
to make sure that it's.
this next annual meeting, which is next Tuesday, right?
Yes.
We I have a question about I noticed that we have to elect a clerk, a treasurer, and collector of taxes. Because this is self-governed, I assume that everybody who were elected here is separate from Bennington and Commerce.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
And on the back of that, in the very last page of that is the warrant
Perfect,
that will be,
yes.
so you'll see the articles to be
Yes,
discussed.
thank you.
Yes. Yes.
About town meeting itself, because it's not Australian ballot, to my knowledge, in West Bennington. Could an individual attend town meeting but not vote if they're not registered, which is what they're registered?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That goes back to my first point is
Okay.
anybody can go, they're all public meetings. There's no restriction on who can attend. When items are called to vote, then it is restricted to, like Lori said, and if there's a question about if somebody is a resident and then a legal voter, Lori, who's the clerk, would have the current registration. And like she said, she's gonna get an updated one based on who may have done same day registration last Tuesday for that vote. But other than that, I mean, and there's spots for questions, so even
Yeah.
somebody who is not a resident or a voter of North Bennington can certainly ask a question and,
Yes.
you know, take, participate within the process.
The trustees we do not run that annual meeting. There is a moderator elected, which I believe is the first item there.
Right,
And so that moderator then decides how the meeting is run. We do have rules and procedures that the trustees have adopted for the meeting. And we may find the need to just have the moderator do some brief review of those rules of procedure. But basically, anyone can raise their hand and be recognized. We just ask that people don't yell out to keep some order. Yes.
thank you.
Also, Nora,
Yeah.
if you want, or if any of your colleagues want, we do record these meetings. So if you would like to have your colleagues see some of this that can't attend, let us know and we can get you that.
Thank you so much, actually, that'd be
It's also a cat TV.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, Cat
Thank
TV
you.
broadcast, Cat TV's recording right now.
Yeah.
They're broadcasting live, and then they do have a schedule where they rerun it, and I think there's access through their website also.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And Facebook. Great,
Yeah.
amazing, awesome.
And I know they rotate it, but I do
Yeah.
think that more current ones are available.
Thank you for that. Here, I'm looking at it and almost forgot to mention it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but we have the owl because of.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess one, like the last one I can think of, is the person who's moderating the town meeting, elected judge for that purpose, or do they have rules outside of that event?
I'm going to say no, but let me check with Lori. Lori, the question was, the person who is, did you hear it? The person who
No.
is elected the person who is elected moderator at the annual meeting, do they have any roles or responsibilities outside of that meeting?
They do not.
Okay, that's what
No.
Yeah, I think so too, I'm worried I'm gonna like leave this. I guys could contact any of you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's been wonderful.
So,
Where are you guys from?
I'm from Bennington originally.
Oh.
I transferred from CC to.
I'm from Western Mass, so
Okay.
I know about town meeting.
Yeah, so they have town meetings down there
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
I went to the one time.
so,
well, we applaud you for all of you, including your colleague here on Zoom. We applaud you for your interest and your questions, and please know you are welcome at any meeting. And we publish the agenda is online. If you don't know the website, it's villagenorthbennington.org. And you can look there for lots of information. If you ever have questions, comments, or concerns, we have public comments on every meeting, and we'd love to hear some of your thoughts and suggestions.
Thank you so much.
and there's, every meeting is for the coming years in that booklet.
Thanks.
Is,
Thanks for noting.
the town meeting is in this building,
No.
No.
No,
It is in the village school auditorium.
village school auditorium, thank you.
Yes,
You
this
guys
would,
familiar with where that is?
Yes.
Yeah, right over on School Street.
Okay, that is very important.
and it is at 7:30 in the evening.
In the afternoon.
Oh, yes, as our charter says, 7:30 in the afternoon.
Excellent.
and the entrance is through the gym doors that, there's a pathway to.
You can
Yeah.
follow people.
Thanks. It's been excellent. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna, for joining online.
Yes. You are certainly welcome to listen to the rest of the meeting, or you're welcome to Jim.
Probably let them know that the planning commission is another integral
Oh, yes.
member of the government. And that's where a lot of the documents that people see online are created and they're prepared for the trustees for their approval.
Thank you.
We also have, as you'll see if you open the front of the book, the other committees. We have a tree committee, certainly the water department, and led by Steve Goodrich falls under the umbrella of the village trustees, though they run themselves autonomously. There is a development review board, zoning administrator, highway department, fire department, who else am I missing? School, well, the school,
Separate.
it does not.
Well,
fall
it will fall under the village.
So, should you wish to learn anything about any of those, appointees or committees, just let us know.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, thank you again. We are moving on now, and we are ahead of time. Okay, approving the minutes of the February 10th meeting. All of those minutes have been sent out. Does anyone have questions, comments, concerns, or edits?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
It's seconded by Tara. Any questions from the audience? None from members? Calling the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Doug, do you want to take the warrants and approval of bills?
So I got the payroll warrant first, regular 2 pay period for February. So the grand total is $16,414.51.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Matthew, you're okay? No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
The regular monthly warrant, Lori and I had cut checks towards the end of February. It was kind of debatable if I wanted to do 2 warrants or 1. I know it is kind of small font, but it all fit on 1 page, so I rolled with that. One of the main reasons that we cut the check was we had gotten a couple of salt bills, so Norm wanted to make sure that we kept those folks happy, so we just paid everything that had come into that point in time. So we had the salt bill there, there's not too much out of the ordinary, even on the March warrant. Norm, if you want to talk about in your report, the SciTech Northeast, the equipment. So Norm will discuss that, the new piece of equipment, which is a little over 23,000. And Centerline Architects, that's for a couple of projects. And then again, another salt bill that had come through. So the grand total for late February and March is $66,660.31.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so then we will go, Norm, you're up.
All right, so we'll talk about that SciTech thing. Again, that's a piece of equipment that goes in our excavator that basically keeps a individual out of the ditch line when we're trying to dig and set grade. So we can set a benchmark and pull and maintain that benchmark. And one of the big things that's gonna help us with is when we go down Hall Street. So that's a big deal for us, especially being a little department. It is a $23,000 item, so it's pretty big, but we've also sold a bowl over for $21,100. So the offset, so you know what I mean, it's not a whole lot of money out of our budget, so please don't be scared about that. So there's that again. Hall Street, we're working towards it. I'm glad that Steve's here. The town of Bennington, we're gonna hopefully set up a meeting between all the entities, and they're considering putting a brand new sewer line completely down the street. Because we're gonna rip it up wicked, so something that we need to all collectively get together. It's not a 1-year project, this is gonna be a multiple-year project. See what happens with that. Still waiting. Other than that, we got winter is still upon us. Don't get falsified. We had 2 nice days. Spent a lot of time, patching potholes again on some of our worst streets, which pretty much vanished. It's got to turn into that. But we're we're working as we can. We built some potholes on Park Street. Park Street stayed, very well this year because it actually froze and stayed frozen throughout the year, so, it was a lot better. So we'll be working on getting ready to start sweeping. Sweeping sidewalks, sweeping streets. You know, we try to get that done in the month of March, because most people still have their windows closed. It's not warm enough to have them out at night, because that's pretty dusty and obnoxious. So other than that, that's it for the highway. We did get a bid, from a vendor for, $2,800 to, paint the inside of our garage and caulk all the corners. That's just labor, us paying for material through, Sherwin Williams, so where we have a charge account, so we're not paying markup on it. And that's part of that weatherization grant.
Mhm.
We have a meeting with a contractor tomorrow about the window in the bathroom.
Oh, good.
You know, because that's just been a storm window forever and ever. Getting that done, so then we'll work on the outside of the building as time allows. Again, as you know, we don't have a lot of inside storage in our room. Not prepared to give a full, report on this, but I've met with, some contractor, concrete guys, I've met with some, an architect, to draw the addition on our garage, which is pretty much not the addition, we've already had it, it's where that lean-to is, we're taking that off. Through the good gracious of a very prestigious college, we've got, probably all the plywood we need to do the job. Was donated to us, so, you know, we're moving along, you're gonna see more of that. Again, that's gonna be a multi-year project, we don't expect to hit everybody with it right off the rip, but if we can get it watertight this year, I think that would be a big goal for us.
Norm, I will also report that Norm and I had worked on, we've had in our minds for a few years now, developing a long-term, I guess, capital plan for all of our various roads. So we now have a spreadsheet with all the roads and the mileage. And I went back to 2015, which is the earliest I could find in our QuickBooks. And I have reports now of all the expenses, the detail of the expenses for road repairs. And some of it I'm gonna have to work with you and look at. Some of it had the roads identified, some didn't. But with the vendor and the date, you probably would know what it was. So what we're trying to do is get this schedule showing what repairs we have done to which roads, when, the cost, so that we can then put on some inflation and multiplier factor and figure out what it will be, what it would take to just rough estimate, do the various road projects that we need to do. And then resurrect the project that we started also a few years ago, which was we as individuals, trustees, going out with the survey form that, or the, what do you call it, the assessment form that that Norm has, and just look at the conditions and come up with what the conditions of our roads are. We can take volunteers also to do some of that. We'll compile all of that and then get together and figure what is the strategy. Are we dealing with worst first, or are we gonna deal with things that, these are getting bad, so we better do something now before they get to the worst state. But Norm and I are committed to getting people on board and excited about doing that project. We started it a while ago, but I think there were only two of us that did some surveys, so they need to be done again. But we're moving on it. Any other questions for Norm?
I had a quick question about the sweeping. Are you able to reuse what you sweep up, or
Yeah.
it's garbage and it's probably got garbage in it
It's
too?
got tons of garbage in it, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not,
Okay,
that's,
Where does it go?
we bring it to our barnyard and we push it on the
Oh.
bank. You know, that's pretty much it. It's
Is there any concern that it could be, if it seeps down into the waterway, is there any concern that it could be damaging?
Well, we're plenty far enough away from the river, but that's.
Oh, we
how
are,
it's,
okay.
You know. Could somebody come up with that argument? Yes, but that's just how it's always
Okay.
been done and,
Okay,
you know, I'm not a big fan of saying that, you know, things can't change, but that's where you get rid of it, nobody.
but would it be mostly like the gravel and the salt and the,
That's pretty much what it is,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's every piece of garbage, every cigarette butt that somebody threw out the window, it's, you know. It's all, you know, and, you know, to try to reuse that material, it's just not.
Not feasible.
No, it's not even close, I think, you know, maybe in some big California or something, for, you know, a bazillion-dollar stringer, they might be able to salvage it, but it's not gonna happen in our community right now.
Okay.
Is the work at the base of the dam completed?
It is not, it's, the work, as a matter of fact, on the April 28th, the dam people are coming back. They are going to, inspect on their routine schedule, the White's Dam, which I believe is the firehouse dam. And you're also gonna look at Lake Barron. We've done a ton of work there, all the brush, now we just gotta go back and cut the trees and then start sowing again, and then that's pretty much where we're at now, so. But it's 50% completed, which they were thinking until the end of the summer, so we're way ahead of it.
Is that, the regular 2-year inspection of the dam that you're talking about?
It's a regular inspection, that's all I know, they called me this morning and said we're gonna be here. You know, we have another, deal that we have to be on, Zoom meeting, and I said, do I have to be there? And they were like, no, let's give it a report.
Do you know what time of day that's scheduled for?
I don't, I can
Okay.
find out.
I'd like to attend that if possible.
What I'll do is, stop up the garage, and we'll play that message, and you can take that guy's phone number down.
All right,
And just directly contact with them.
good. And Kim, would you want to attend also?
Potentially.
Okay.
He'll take it under consideration.
Associated with it.
Okay.
any other questions for Norm?
The vibrancy of some of the striping on the roads is, has been diminished by winter.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, at one time, you mean like, the double yellow lines? And yeah, see, at one time we had a machine, and, it worked, but it didn't work great, and it was better for us to sell it. Actually, our neighbor last year bought a line striping machine, and we have a meeting with him very shortly to give us a price on striping some roads in the village.
Yeah, I was wondering if it followed this week.
Yes, oh, it'll have to follow sleep, yeah. But, you know, like we did College Road at one time, that actually worked out good, because you can see the edge. I probably definitely wouldn't do Mechanic Street, because the road's just bad. But, you know what, we can afford it, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. At one time, somebody put a single yellow line out there, that's illegal, you're not supposed to have that, so we're not gonna do that. You know, the new River Road that we just paved, we'll probably do that one, you know. So again, higher speed streets is where we would want to go. Target that, but things are expensive. Let's say, it's weird way, but you know, something that, we're trying through the years to improve on. And for us to do it, it turned out to be crazy hard, you know, because there's only two of us, so you got one guy in the truck, one guy in the machine, nobody's putting cones out, you know, it's just,
Right.
it turned into a nightmare.
Any other questions from the audience for Norm? I don't see any hands, oh, right,
I noticed on Park Street, there's some trees that look to be marked for removal.
Yeah.
Is that's gonna happen sometime?
Well, that's the grant we applied, and,
Yeah, okay.
the person marking them got a little overzealous, And, so, but hopefully, all those who go, we applied for it, it's up to, I don't know, 15 or 18,000 house.
Yeah.
For grant. You know, so the smaller ones, you know, hopefully we can take care of ourselves. And there's a couple big ones that will be,
Right.
I don't remember. I think it's still a couple months before we hear from that grant.
I think it's a while.
Yeah,
Which one? Yeah.
no, I'll talk about that. This is
Yeah.
this is the highway grant to
Yeah.
take down the trees.
Right. Canopy grant is to grow some. trees
Yes.
in place.
We'll talk about
That's
that
a different.
in a minute.
Yeah. Clean up.
We good? Okay, thank you, Norm. Welcome to stay or welcome to go. I don't blame you. Okay, no problem. Doug, you're back.
Back. Okay, so I sent out a bunch of reports. I won't go through too much unless anybody has any questions. The budget versus actual, again, I just let everybody know, there still will be stuff that has to be moved around, but this is kind of a broad overview of, where we're at with things, and everything is pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty on track. The one that's way over, I'll just mention, is the highway new equipment, and
Yeah.
there's two things. There is a, little over 58,000 from the truck reserve for the truck that was purchased. That's not been applied to that yet. And the 21,000 that Norm just said, we just got the check for that other sale of equipment. So, you know, that's another almost, 80,000. That offsets a lot of that purchase. So unless there's any questions on that, that's for information purposes.
Correct me if I'm
Yep.
wrong, but on the road repairs, we had a carryover for some of
Yes.
that, didn't we?
Yep, there is, and I'd have to look back. I don't have that number right in
Yeah, I
front of
don't
me, but,
remember it either.
and as you know, obviously, it doesn't go into this
No.
budget, but yes. There was a carryover for road, there was a small carryover for general government, and I think that was it.
Did fire?
No, not this year, that was last year.
That was last
I
year.
think it was just general government
Okay,
and highway for this year. The cash balances report, really not too much to report there. Everything's on track for where we are in the fiscal year. Over the next couple months, I'll start funding the reserves based on, the budgeted amounts. You could see the delinquent tax account that did dip a little bit. I transferred some of that, but I'm gonna use a batch of the delinquent tax money to start to fund the reserve, so it
Good.
doesn't come directly out of the,
Yeah.
because we make more money on the money market for interest, so I like to leave that there as long as possible. That will bring me into, I didn't send a report because I don't ever, but the delinquent tax update. I did collect a few others, so principal amount outstanding now is under 90,000. We're down to 86,000. And the 6 or 7 parcels that were sent to the attorney's office, that now represents over 50% of our outstanding. So, and I don't have any update on that. The attorney left me a message today, so I gotta touch base with them to see if they've received any yet. They usually send checks once a month if they've received any payments. So I'll get that update. Only a couple other things that I have, at the annual meeting, I'll have an update. I'm gonna touch base with the assessor's office in Bennington to get an update on reappraisals, reassessment, whatever folks wanna call it, to find out, as far as I know, they're still on track, which would start it this year with an 18-month time frame for it to complete. So I'll have that hopefully at the annual meeting. Quick, we got a thank you note from the Vermont Art Exchange, so just mention that they did for thanking us for the contribution that was sent out in December. This just came, so I'm gonna just read it verbatim. I do not have a lot of information about it. It is from Bennington County, and it is a tax warrant directed to the village of North Bennington. It was sent to the town of Bennington, who also received. And it says, whereas I have received a written order from the assistant judges of Bennington County directing me to issue warrants to the treasurers of several towns in the county of Bennington for the collection of a tax to contribute to the payment of the debts and expenses of said county in the fiscal year from February 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2027. Now therefore, I hereby levy upon your municipality, agreeable to law, a tax on the dollar of the aggregate fair market value of the properties comprising the equalized grand list of your municipality, which aggregate fair market value was established by the Vermont Department of Taxes effective January 1st, 2026. The tax bill is for $8,845.93. It says half of which is due no later than July 7th, and a balance not later than November 5th, 2026.
800 and some,
No, 8,000.
8,000. Oh,
I have never seen this.
Never heard of it.
The tax collector in Bennington had never seen one of these.
Let's ask Will.
What did they spend the money on?
Hold on. I think Will, do you want to?
You're
Yeah,
on mute.
if you've not gotten this letter before, maybe I'm thinking of something different, but when the county does their budget, because, you know, Bennington County, like all the other 14 counties in Vermont, does not have taxing authority. So the way they derive their taxation is they try to distribute it, one, by population, but also by the grand list value of all the towns. In Bennington County's case, the 17 towns, and I'm assuming the villages within some of these towns. So from my understanding, their budget last year was about, I want to say about $400,000. So that 8,000 must be what they estimate to be North Bennington's share of that. But if you guys have never gotten a letter like that, this may be something
Never.
completely different. They could have gone out to bond, and that bond got approved and they're paying off debts to it. I wouldn't be sure about that, because our committee, we oversee the courthouses, and Bennington County, we didn't have any courthouse improvements this year. And usually they come before us to at least get some kind of grant from us for that. So I don't know what that letter is exactly, Doug. Yeah.
So, right, I mean, I'm gonna have to find this out, but the sad part about this is, so now when the trustees set the tax rate in August, this is going to have to go out to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Because the
and
village doesn't have funds other than
Yeah.
the authority to raise taxes.
And nor is this in our budget.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And that's why it's so the legislature, and I can update this maybe at the village meeting a little bit more, but
Yes.
impromptu, we're right now, I believe it's in the Senate, and I was asked to try to lead it in the House, but we decided to let the Senate work on it, about allowing counties to do their own taxing authority, which is somewhat controversial, but it would allow for towns and villages like North Bennington to account for that, and they do their own things separately. And I don't know what the progress is on that right now, but that's been an issue ongoing in Vermont for at least, from my recollection, it started back up in 07, 08. So it's been a while since it's been addressed. But I can get more information this week and have some more info for you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah, I think this is gonna have to get a lot of clarification,
Yep.
because this is kind of like a backdoor way to tax residents.
Because
Because like I said, there's no way, the village can't just pay this bill.
Yep.
You know, our budget is based on raising taxes.
Yep.
So now we have a bill, if it is legitimate, I have to verify that. I don't have any reason to believe it's not, but again, it just came to me yesterday. So now we have to incorporate an additional $8,845 that the budget has already been, well, assuming it will be approved, this will then have to go on in August as, you know, the trustees putting that through on the tax rate to be able to pay this bill and not have a deficit.
And I will say that prior to Doug being the treasurer in the close to 10 years that I never saw anything like this. So this is the first time, at least in over a decade.
Who signed this?
The treasurer of Bennington County.
Okay.
Who is that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I can kind of read this. It appears it's Judith Pembroke.
Judith
Pembroke.
Pembroke?
Okay. The only thing, and this is just a thought, I may be wrong on this, but last year when we looked at the town of Bennington budget and I went through all the line items, there's a line item in the Bennington budget for, I want to say it was about $67,000 or $70,000 to pay Bennington County for their portion. So I'm curious if that also might be something that changed in law that I wasn't aware of, or it was a rules change that was promulgated and handed down where now villages need to contribute to that. I don't know exactly where that handoff came from, but that's been a line item in the town budget for many years. So I don't know if they handed it off partially to you all.
Right, because this is, right, and this is, like I said, this is specifically directed to the village of North Bennington.
Yeah.
You know, it went to Bennington, which isn't unusual because they hold our property records, you know, because they do get items from the state that have to do with that. So that part is not unusual.
Yeah.
But Bennington forwards me everything that, you know, pertains to the village. And obviously they would never pay the taxes for the village if they were billed for them in the past.
And I would
Yep.
wonder, if, you said Bennington got a similar letter?
Yes.
So they have their assessment, then I'm just wondering now, do we need to see whether North Bennington residents are gonna have to get double hit? Because we not only pay this, but we pay then the portion of Bennington's.
Well, right, I mean, it would be,
So
but it
we'll
would have
have
to
to
be a
see.
pro rata because when
Yeah.
Bennington breaks down
Yeah.
the bottom line.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean, if we've got this grand list and then the pro rata of that, the other grand list.
No, it would only be, because that's the pro rata piece.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't pay on Bennington's grand list,
Right.
we pay
On
on
this,
this grand
but
list.
depending on how Bennington calculates their tax rate, whether this goes in that general pot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll-
You have
well,
a
another
fair
thing.
point, Mary. I'll put a plug in it from my end after this,
Okay.
but I'll
Okay.
reach out to Commissioner Schuldice with the tax department tomorrow. I have another question I need to ask him about some senior tax credits, so I'll throw that in there. And then when we see each other on Tuesday, I can give you guys an
Good.
informal update or even, clarified at the meeting, but. Yep.
What services does the county of Bennington provide? What do they need this money for?
Right, I don't know, I don't even know, like I say, what, it just says debts.
Will might know.
Yeah, so generally, the county budget covers what it takes to run the courthouse, the civil division, the criminal division's part of the state, but the civil maintenance side of it, that's why it adds up to about 400,000. A good chunk of that is capital needs, which is why it comes to our committee to get some bonded dollars for that. The other thing, I know the county has, forget how many, I mean, we're talking single digits, maybe double digits of roads that they maintain. But that's very minimal in their budget for upkeep because these are very rural mountain roads that they take care of. I don't even think that accounts to much. But that's pretty much what the county budget is to maintain the civil side of their operations.
For courthouse?
Basically.
Yeah.
That's the bulk of it, he said there was a few very small rural county roads that the county be responsible for, but that's it.
Yeah. And if it's for debt services, my biggest thing would be that they probably bonded for some project and maybe the state was covering its portion first and now it's being handed down to the taxpayers at the county level.
Okay.
Because that's not uncommon. We funded a big project up in Essex County for a big renovation, and that was in several millions of dollars that we helped them out with. So it's not uncommon, but we can figure out where that's coming from.
The next
Kim has a
is,
question still.
do our residents get to vote on the capital budget of the courthouse?
Of the county in
The
general.
county-owned courthouse?
Did you hear that, Will?
Yep, I did. There's a public meeting usually in January. I don't know when that decision would have been made. County government, and I studied this at Bennington College, so I'm pretty, I would say semi-versed in this, but, there's generally not a public meeting of that nature for a county project like that. Like I said, it usually comes before the institutions committee here in the legislature for the capital dollars, or it goes to appropriations if they need cash funds to do things. But usually,
Which would bring up, and I think the direction that Kim is heading, if all of a sudden now the village of North Bennington is getting a bill for $8,800 and our residents have no say because there was no public posting of the meeting where this budget was approved and where they approved to come after the municipalities for this tax bill.
No
So-
taxation without representation.
I've heard that.
So, yeah, no, so I'm that, and again, that's why we're doing it. We're trying to change the way it's been done for almost 50 years at the state level right now. Because that was my biggest concern is there is a lack of voter participation and just general electoral engagement within county governance. That meeting should be warned. So I think that would be a question to ask Judge Frost or Judge Pete and see what, when they sent out the warning, what year this is coming from, because there's a lot of unknowns, I think, from that letter that we don't know. Was this something they did last year and it's now coming around? Or was this done several years ago and now, the places are, being expected to pay the bill now? So I think there's a lot of questions that I can hopefully get some answers to.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
It sounds like a scam.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a scam.
Wow.
Kind of reads that way.
Okay.
That's
So
all
do you
I
have
have.
anything else?
Nope, that's all I have for now.
Steve? Water Department. Land wherever you're comfortable landing, sir. Love it. Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome,
Yeah.
thank you. So I suppose you'll have me here because you got your letters in the mail that you have delivered.
Yes.
The water board budget is up to $8.50 per thousand gallons of water, mainly due to the rising cost of chemicals, insurance, everything that goes with it. You have a 129-year-old system. And we forget that a good 60% of that system is pipes underground. And the minute we have a leak, we have to fix it. And we do have lines that do need to be repaired and replaced. Also, we have a plant that is 30 years old. It looks like it was put in yesterday for those of the people that have been to the plant. We are planning, hopefully, to have an open house in May to allow all of the people that are customers of the village to take a look at it and see it. But what has hit the water plant is we've taken such good care of it now that the equipment is outdated. The control system, the pumps, the parts for them. We purchased a bearing, I don't know, last fall for one of the pumps. One, I don't know if you realize the bearing's probably that big, that wide, that big around, maybe that thick. That was $1,000. And we couldn't buy one, we had to buy two. Only one person makes it and one person sells it. So the plant is, we're having people come to assess the plant and start a phasing in of updating the control system, things like that. Our last raise was in 2023, I think. We've held the line as long as we could, but this year we just couldn't push the line any further. So we are $8.50 per thousand.
How much did it change? How much did it go up?
$2.
$2 per thousand.
Per thousand.
Yes.
So. So what else is in the capital pipeline for the water system?
What else is in it? Right now, we've done kind of a main 5 or 6 portions of the system, which are the diversion dam, the well field, the bridge that leads to the well field, and one of the mains and something, and the pumping station. The pumps in that pumping station was put in 1967. And those pumps have been there ever since. We've rebuilt them and rebuilt them. If you stand by it, it sounds like if you've ever been around a hay baler, that's what it sounds like when it's running now. It is time to update that equipment.
Are those running constantly or they're periodic?
They run when we produce so much water, and when we can't produce that the village needs to supply all its customers, the well field kicks in. Other than that, it runs gravity. But that's what the well field is, it's a secondary water source.
So basically, the pump doesn't know it's moving.
Hmm?
The pump doesn't know it's anything at this point.
No.
'Cause that's 60+ years.
Mhm.
Are the people that put in the solar field, they're redoing part of that original,
main
what do you call
transmission.
it? You could explain that better than me.
The solar people are putting solar panels in, so the original pipe, when it started digging, I think 1920.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Steve, could you speak up?
Sure, yep. The original system started in 1920, and it was dug by hand. There was no power equipment, they dug it by hand. So the main transmission line comes down what we call Reservoir Road, goes under Route 7 and starts up in the field, which I'm sure you all have seen, is where they're gonna put the solar field. There is no, what we have today called as-built that tells you where the line is.
Right.
It just zigzags its way up through these pastures. If they ran into a rock as big as one of the chairs, they just dug around it and just put the pipe in. Because we don't know the depth, the solar field people are going to replace the line that their solar field is going to sit on. So that's where we're at with that portion of that line. The pump line under the road, the state report replaced when they did Route 7 over here, so that's not on the other side, it's still the original pipe. And their property line ends at the top of that pasture that you look at, across a couple of others, and it ends at the top of where the Rod and Gun Club is on their property. It ends there, and then it heads downhill toward the filtration plant. So they're gonna get it to the top of that hill off their property, find the connections that will handle the corporation, what we call a corporation coupling, which takes it from brand new ductile iron to the old cast iron pipe.
Which is probably a good thing, because if it was in 1920, who knows how long that would have lasted, or if there's already leaks there.
I am sure, Mary, there's leaks,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
way to check it.
Yeah.
But what's being put in is ductile iron, so that's usually what the village has put in, not plastic.
Do they have a construction schedule, or, so when might that be completed?
As soon as we get done talking about some of the items that we had, the board's not quite happy with. I would think that they'll start this spring.
Oh.
The object will be to not disturb the line if at all possible. And it will keep it intact until they have both ends ready to connect. That's the plan, okay? But one of the pitfalls is we don't know how deep it is. And the most it's probably been on that property in the last 100 years are cows and some tractors to mow the lawn, to mow the hay down.
Okay.
Now you're gonna put some heavy equipment on there, moving earth, getting ready to put those solar fields in. And it's because water runs through it constantly, it doesn't freeze. So, we don't know how deep it is. There are.
Do they have machines that?
They
like,
can kind
look
of
down?
locate it
Yeah.
and find it, and get it that way, but they'll do as best they can.
Yeah.
They gotta get but their first priority, I guess, is to get the pipe in.
Yeah.
And then they can do their work and not have to worry about it.
So they get the pipes in and then they transfer over connection. Okay. And then the old pipe stays in the ground.
Stays right in the ground, and is left there.
And that's at their expense, the new
Yes.
pipe?
That was made very clear when they came to us, that the village of North Bennington is not gonna spend one nickel for their dream.
Right.
Okay, it is totally their cost,
Okay, and that's ductile pipe.
everything,
Yeah, okay,
everything.
all right.
Nice.
We sell water to Shasta.
Yes, we do.
Are they paying the same amount that we are?
Everyone pays the same amount of money for water. That is written in the deed of gift.
Corporations.
Corporations, businesses, anything, we all pay $8.50 per thousand. The deed of gift specifically states that. No one gets a discount.
All right. Yeah, well, I think the pumps have done their job.
Huh?
I think the pumps have done their job.
Well, there's a lot of things that need some. It's been, it is a system that's been very good and very reliable, and it hasn't been, but it is getting older. So we're trying to look ahead. So Otter Creek is working with us to start planning out a plan to do this in sections and not wait for the emergency surgery that has to be done. Let's get this done ahead of time and work our way through it. So we'll go through the years and work and get it.
You give tours,
Huh?
do you give tours of the system? Can
We're
you-
going to.
Yeah.
You will be surprised when you see the system and how it works. And,
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
We're going
never
to.
been up there either.
Hope to have an open house so that anybody that wants to come and see the plant can see it and can see the whole operation, where we take you to where the water comes down off the mountain into the dam and then goes to by the well field and show you those things. So
Yeah, and you don't have a date yet on that?
not yet.
Okay.
We're got other things we're fighting right now, so
Yeah.
trying to get it
Well,
worked out.
The water department has they have a good record of performance in terms of quality of water.
Very good. We have very, very good water. We're very lucky that we don't have to. When they brought a trailer here, the interesting point is they brought a trailer here to test the water of North Bennington for a week to see what size filtration plant. And the guy that was sitting in the trailer said to Jerry Elbow at that time, your water is better than some that come out of filtration plants. But the federal government said we had that filtration plant because we service so many people. So we do have really, and I think that's why our lines are kind of in the shape they're in, because we've had good water running through it.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I will make sure everyone knows when the open house is. Okay, and you're welcome to come.
Mary, did you want to speak on Bob Medeiros'?
Oh,
message?
I was trying to find that. Can you
It
say
says,
something?
by my math, this is a 30% increase in the rate. Dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something, Bob, about that?
Yeah, I'm just, I don't mean to interject, but that's a pretty good jump.
I totally agree, but our jump in our insurance and then other things that we have, our chemicals, our repairs on the system jumped a lot more than that, Bob.
Okay. Thank you.
And, you do have an audit every year, right?
Yes, every year. we get
And
on.
that's available for public inspection.
Mhm.
And so maybe the trustees, I've never seen, I don't recall seeing.
It will be, there,
Yeah.
the audit for the water department is going through the same process
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
audit for the village is.
Yeah.
So as soon as the village is done, the water is gonna be done at the same time.
Same auditors.
Yep, they're doing
the same
both of
process.
them, exactly, yep. So
Okay,
yes, and then, all of those audits will go right to the website, because they're public records, so,
now that's great.
yep,
It's good to state that publicly.
absolutely.
People can be assured at least that they can see the information at some point.
But
Yep.
we have always had it done every year.
Yep,
And
and that's gonna
usually, it
continue.
has always, previous to this, it's been included in the annual
Yeah,
report.
right.
But we just don't have one. It will be in the annual report in the
Okay.
future,
All right.
as well as on the website.
I had another quick question going back to Norm's Hall Street discussion.
That is a changing, it's taking an evolution here. And so that's what Norm and I talked about when we were just outside is, I guess he's gonna rip it apart. Bennington's gonna look at a new sewer main, I guess. We'll be looking at replacing the water main when it comes.
So it might be a whole new main going,
Mhm. To get
okay,
it down, see it, and gotta take a look at it, and, he feels the same way the water department does. I think nothing is more upsetting than to put down blacktop And 6 months later, they're digging it up to either fix the sewer or the water, and now it's.
And then have a cavity in the road for
You
the
always,
next
yeah,
50
you always
years.
have the patch, it's always a
Yeah.
Band-Aid on the job, so yeah,
Yeah.
so that's, so him and I are gonna keep in touch and we will
Great.
keep a
Good.
watch on.
Yeah.
See what else.
When you're doing that, I suppose that would be an opportunity for homeowners to, they pay for the line to their house, right? They may wanna upgrade their own lines, right?
Yeah, we get it to the curb box.
Right.
We own the curb box, the
Yeah.
village does, and then from there to their house, that's, if they wanna replace it, they can.
Yeah, I know that's not our
Yeah.
responsibility.
But any of the plans that are done, much like we did when we
Yeah.
were formulating this, there will be public meetings and on-site meetings so that people will exactly know what's happening. And when,
We don't wanna shock people.
no,
No.
all right, thank you again.
Yes,
Any
thank you,
other
Steve.
questions? No, seeing none, okay. Tara, is there's a DRB meeting
Yes,
coming up,
2 weeks from now. 24th, yeah, so next
That
week is our
March
village
24th?
meeting, and then the week after on Tuesday, our DRB meeting.
Okay. March 24th DRB meeting. We're gonna move on to planning commission. Ken,
I think it was distributed with your agenda.
I did distribute that.
The
and we
property
need-
maintenance
we need to
ordinance?
Bring you a chair.
He just put it back.
Oh,
So, Ray had a few comments and we hope we address those with the red marks. And we left them red, so you see what those changes are.
and hopefully you've all had a chance to review that from last week.
Going along with the ordinance, if you choose to adopt, is the repeal of ordinance number 30,
Mhm.
which is also called the property maintenance ordinance. And is, well, it references all sorts of things that don't exist, people who don't exist and so forth. So it definitely needs to be repealed or revised.
Yeah, that ordinance was adopted in February, on February 17th, 2022. So it is old, and that is, all of you trustees have a book, looks just like this.
Yes.
And it has all your ordinances, so you can refer, it's the last one in that book. And
And
that just gets simply by vote, as far as I understand. Thank you both.
Did you guys want the cake?
Oh, shoot. I guess I have to take it, don't I?
Well, or it goes into a compost.
I don't think that Greater Bennington Community Services can accept it because it's a homemade item.
Yes,
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
but
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
thank you for trying.
Thank you for the effort.
Okay, not to interrupt.
so the ordinance repeal process, that's the trustees.
Yes.
That's not planning
Yes.
commission. So we're just alerting
Yeah.
you that should you choose to adopt the new one, well,
Good.
regardless whether you choose to adopt the new one, the ordinance number 30 could be,
Could just simply go by the wayside
go by the wayside.
regardless, because it's outdated and not germane anymore.
So I'll leave you with the property maintenance ordinance to
Mhm.
choose what you want to do with that. Just to alert you to the March meeting, we had a productive discussion with our liaison with BCRC. Dana, and he took a lot of our questions and was going to go back and be able to report to us about any number of issues that we had questions concerning, and we hope to strengthen the alliance between his position and the planning commission, because apparently historically he was not invited or embraced by the previous planning commission. So he didn't think that 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 liaison, role required him, or he did not feel welcomed. So we have now very much welcomed him and hope to invite him to every meeting. So that the planning commission and BCRC can be better in sync.
That's good.
Um,
I like your first paragraph.
oh, good. Good. I participated partly in the CHIP Act discussion. The CHIP Act, I think you're all aware, is the state's latest portion of the housing initiative. And this is to assist municipalities in putting in infrastructure for developments. And every municipality can participate. And so I was interested in listening in to the forum that was set up by the Community Housing and Development Group out of the state. And I gave up early on it because it's not that the state is granting money. It is simply allowing municipalities to create bonds and go into debt to put in this infrastructure. They call it a $2 billion investment in infrastructure, and which is essentially allowing municipalities to go into debt with the anticipation that they will get more money for their grand list. Therefore, they can pay back their debt. It is not a grant. It is not money on the table for municipalities to. It's simply a way of sort of financing your infrastructure improvements based on expected revenue from your expanded grant list.
So could a municipality not take a grant as it is to do infrastructure work? Why would they need an act to tell them that they could?
Honestly, I gave up on it because it seemed like intense regulatory mush to.
I'm looking at
Do
Will
this.
just in case Will wants to.
I'm happy to jump in a second time. So with Act 69, that's the CHIP Act that Kim's referencing. I can pull up more notes on that for next Tuesday, because since I the best way I can describe it right now is prior to CHIP, there was the tax increment financing districts that were being established around the state. The difference between TIF and CHIP as two separate programs is that TIF is more municipality based, and that the municipality has to set it up and has approval throughout the process for a lot of things. There's a lot more control with a TIF district. With CHIP, it's mainly more in the developer's hands to access that. And what we're essentially doing, it's taking, as Kim said pretty eloquently, I think, that it's essentially borrowing off the education fund without impacting taxes immediately. But at the same time, I should say there will obviously still be a tax, a tax pressure in the short term, but it's not specific to that municipality because it's on the ed fund, which is our big statewide one. I think that's as simple as I can make it right now, but what I'll do is I can get some stuff specifically as it pertains to North Bennington as a tier 1B village under Act 69. I can get some more information on that.
But since our infrastructure, specifically our water and sewer, is as built out Yes, it likely will be.
So this is irrelevant, really.
I think it's irrelevant to North
Yep.
Bennington.
Okay,
And it's only, as I understand it, it's only one development per municipality. So you would have to choose a developer and one development and provide infrastructure for that.
where it
one,
does not exist.
Where it does not exist. And I
And
just
with
don't
extra
see,
square miles, where might that
I don't see that.
be? Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
see that.
Just real quick to where it's not existing infrastructure right now, that part's correct. Thank you for reminding me of
Okay.
that. On the part about the one project per municipality, I don't remember that language being in the bill when I read over it when we were voting on it last year, but I will check back and see if that's in there. That may have been something that I overlooked and didn't see in there. So my apologies on that.
Yeah, well, that's how it was introduced to me. Maybe I misunderstood.
Okay.
So that was the CHIP Act, and then the unsafe and hazardous building ordinance. We had a legal review of that. The Planning Commission is going to go into depth on that legal determination, and we'll see what we want to bring before the trustees, if anything, because the trustees already have some of the powers that that ordinance would permit. Open birding ordinance, we have, that will be discussed as well, if we have time, and we have started language for that. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to be going through the village plan, which the students had in their hands. And I think they had in their hands.
They had the annual.
Oh, they have the annual
Yeah.
report. Well, the village plan, we're gonna go through it and look for all the action items that are associated with each chapter. And try to assemble those and try to make some sense of them and go forward with.
And might I comment that those village plans are really, the more I have learned about it over this process, that's a great document. Because all the grants that we have applied for, the 3 this year, we were able to specifically reference something from the village plan. I support for why we should be awarded those, the grants. And at least in one case, it worked.
And so the more we can demonstrate that we've
Yes.
got a priority list, that
Yes,
we're moving forward with it, so forth, I think will be to the event.
yes. Did anyone wish to talk about, do you want to talk about the property maintenance ordinance? Do you guys want another, and what, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, do you want to digest this for the next month and wait until the next month to consider motions to adopt this, or what, what's your comfort level? Let me get it out in English.
I think the procedure requires us to warn the adoption of it so that people can attend and ask questions.
I did. This is
That
more,
counts.
this is more. If it is adopted, then what happens is it goes into the newspaper, published in 5 places, et cetera, and then the public has a right to appeal, and it is after that time, I believe it's 45 days, but I cannot
Sounds
remember
right.
I
all
think so.
this.
Yeah.
Then it becomes enacted.
Okay.
But you're saying we have to warn.
No, she said
I
that
did
we
warn.
This
did
is
for
the one.
today, yeah.
This is the one. Now, believe me, I am all in favor of the most being the most transparent we can and the most communicative, if that's the word that we can. So if we feel that we should be talking about this a little bit more,
Transparent.
thank you. That's the word I was searching for. If you as a group feel that we should,
Well,
warn this again and maybe more specifically, well, we can.
I read through the thing some time ago. I made comments which Jim was taking into account. And I basically thought it was a done deal after that. But, I'm only one person.
Well,
I
this
read
is-
it,
Yeah,
prior to the last meeting. And I didn't have time to really go through it carefully,
Okay.
so I would prefer another,
another time, okay.
if that's okay.
Absolutely. I think if we're voting on things, we should be 100% confident about what we're adopting, and if we're not, let's,
What if you wanted more potential feedback, what if you put a draft copy on the website?
it actually is.
Is it on there?
It
Okay.
went there with the, I put it, Lucy posted it along with the agenda, and.
Oh,
is
so it
also-
would have just went out
Yes,
for.
yes,
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it also is hung in the post office.
Okay, is there, other than this meeting, that's the only way people would know about this?
That is the only
looking
way.
at it.
We did talk about it in the February meeting where
Right,
you
yes,
we
made
did.
your comments.
Yeah.
But it was not specifically posted for anyone to see.
Right.
So, if that's a good suggestion, I could ask Lucy to put it on the landing page.
Yeah.
Just
I
as
think
a
that's a
Yes.
good idea.
Okay,
Right, because if you're gonna push the vote to next month anyway, then that way
yeah,
it's out there if somebody.
yeah. Because
Needs
not everybody, people may have just looked at an agenda and not looked at the
Attachments.
second and third page of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have a quick question.
Yes.
At the annual meeting, will the planning commission be speaking?
if you want to, the report is in the, well, the planning commission report is in the annual report. There may be folks in the audience who have a question.
Okay.
And if there is something that, a planning commission member would like to stress, by all means, there is the opportunity to say, when we discuss the reports and the reports come up for, I'm losing my words. today.
I'm gonna leave it that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
annual.
Yeah,
report.
it is in there and people can ask questions.
But you don't have to prepare anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I mean, you could say, mention that this is, posted for people.
Yes. And we could
I wouldn't
mention, yeah,
expect you to describe it, it's lengthy and very detailed.
and the work on ordinances is part of the report. It's in the.
Yes.
It is mentioned.
Yes. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. Old business. As we've been talking about.
Excuse me,
the-
Mary.
Yes,
Before you move on, I'm just a little confused with ordinance 30. Are you repealing that ordinance or?
or ordinance when, yes, a vote needs to be taken, not at this meeting.
Okay, okay,
When the new ordinance is adopted, the old ordinance will be repealed.
okay, thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you for that question.
Okay.
Because that's good for the public to know too.
Good not to have two
Yes.
on the same. side.
Yes, especially if
If they
the
can play.
twain do not meet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So we had talked about the annual meeting and that is next Tuesday, 7:30 in the afternoon or evening, your choice of course, it is at the Village School Auditorium. And the warning for that is in the annual report. Annual reports are available. And one can contact anyone on the board or Lori Elwell. All the reports that were here in the depot are gone, but they are at the library, they are at Lake Perrin, they were in the post office. And we can always get something. Thank you, there's a digital copy on the website, so. if
And I
someone
have a
can-
lot more. I have a box of hard copies also,
Good.
so.
So we'll bring them to the annual meeting as well. Anything else that anybody has a question or comment on the annual meeting? And we'll be there to do a legislative update. Okay. Next thing, I just wanted to mention a follow-up, just a quick follow-up on the presentation that Jonas Spivak did on the train coming in for the 250th there will be a, doodle poll going out, which I will send to anybody who, I don't know how to do a doodle poll, but Jonah is gonna do it and send it to me. And we will send that out to anyone who is interested, of course, everyone in this room. And then I have a few contacts of train enthusiasts. And we'll set up a meeting at some point in, April.
You can probably put Joan in contact with Lucy, because they can probably put that.
Thank you,
through
that's a good
themselves.
idea. Oh, I never thought of that. Let me make a note.
Yeah, and that way there, he can just contact Lucy directly.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll hear more about that. Then we were just gonna do a quick update on where we are on the status of the MERP, that's the Municipal Energy Resilience Program grant. Which is weatherization of buildings, as Norm alluded to. The biggest part of that would be to have heat pumps in the 3 municipal buildings at some point, and we are running out of time to get that done. So Norm has worked on the garage. We have a blower door test scheduled here for the depot on Monday. I got 2 quotes for that and took the lowest of the 2 quotes, which was $300. And coordinating that with Centerline Architects to get all the information that Centerline that needs to then size out what we want for the equipment. And I know you and Ray and Bill Christian are working with the fire department on that building.
Well, Bill has contacted West Oil about a kit. He says that there's a kit that they make for the burner, the Carlin burner, to go in to stuff the opening, to change the opening as the louver, open louver in it to something that closes and directly transits air to the burner, so just filling the room with it.
And then there is an email out to you and Bill and Chief Myers and Andy Myers on getting,
Contractor.
getting dimensions, the internal dimensions of the building. So if you could grab,
I didn't see
well,
that.
yeah, I sent that last week.
Okay.
So if you can find that and then work with the fire department to get that done. If, Kelly said if there's no one that knows those measurements or can do it, to let her know, she will schedule an appointment and go in and take them herself.
Well, I'd be willing to go help her, but we need to get approval from Ed.
Yes, that's why everybody was included on that
Yeah,
email.
right.
So I would appreciate if you could follow up on that one. And we'll get moving along. The next thing is the canopy grant, which that was, we were successful in getting that. It's not huge, but it's $8,000, and hey, we might have an $8,000 bill to pay here. So we will be finalizing getting the official signing of that. And thank you so much to so many people who helped get that grant written. So the big tree on the corner right here at the depot by the crosswalk, that is coming out. There will be a replacement tree put in, and then there will be 10 trees put on Welling, the slope at Welling Field. After Norm and Kyle get some shore up that embankment. So that's good. And lots of people helped with that, so thank you all. Will, did you want to make any more comments at this point?
So when I emailed you last night, I was talking more about the March 17th meeting, but I'm happy to give a short. It's fine. No, I was gonna say I know I've talked quite a bit this meeting. I'm happy to hold off for next Tuesday.
Okay.
The big thing I
Okay.
was gonna say the big thing I wanted to just say was I was gonna try to do some education stuff, and I felt like a bad representative because I was like, I don't really know, other than what I wrote in my newsletter last week, what else is new. So I called Speaker Krawinski and she said, you're not crazy. You haven't really missed out on much. She's like, they're still kind of at a deadlock in the committee. So I'll leave it there for that, but I'm happy to just save everything for next week. And, I was just going to do about a 5 or 10 minute report.
Okay. Hey, Will, should I bring some copies of your newsletter?
I can print,
run
I
off-
can print those, I can print those out.
That would be great. I think that would be lovely to bring copies of those for
Perfect.
people who maybe aren't there and maybe tell them how they can get onto your
Yep.
newsletter if they
I'll
don't
bring-
know.
I'll bring the sign up sheet. So anyone that's
Okay.
not,
Sounds good. All right. Any other questions, comments, business from the audience? Okay, we are then, I'm going to make, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have
Robert.
just one small thing. During this meeting, there's some people who made some comments, and it's very hard for me to hear.
Okay,
I just want to say that it's very hard for me to understand Norm. When Tim Hall spoke from the back of the room, I couldn't hear a word he was saying. So I think it's something that should be looked into.
okay, that's why we have the owl, but if your own device is not loud enough, I don't know if it's that or that the owl is not picking it up.
Well,
But
I
what we
turned mine
can
up
do-
as high. You might talk to Cat TV and see what they say.
Yeah, okay, and we can also then in the future ask people, try to move the owl to where people are.
Or move the people to where the owl is.
Well, that.
How was it when Steve Goodrich was
Great.
talking?
Very
yeah,
good.
it was good with
Okay.
him.
So
Would
maybe,
you hear Kim's comments when where Kim is sitting?
Well, Kim came forward.
Yeah, his were fine
Yes, but
too.
Kim also had some questions. I'm just wondering, Kim there in the audience, could he be heard?
Oh, when
I
he was in
couldn't
the
hear him a
audience,
bit.
yeah, it wasn't really
Okay.
too clear.
It was not, okay,
They're gonna need to sit.
Okay. okay. Or we will have to find a little table and move the owl more centered in the room. Thank you for that feedback. How would we know if no one told us? So thank you. Any other business to be conducted from there? Okay. Then I am going to make a motion that we enter executive session to discuss a personnel matter, premature disclosure of which could be detrimental to someone. I've made that
I'll
motion,
second that.
seconded, all in favor?
I,
Cat TV, I will put you in the waiting room. I do not know. I think we will be adopting one motion when we come out. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna do that. And I need, let's see, we can, Matthew, you can stay on, Lori stays on. We will say goodbye to Bob and to Will, goodbye. Oops, I need to.
Night, guys. Have a good one.
Recording in
Okay,
progress.
We had motioned, and voted to end executive session. We're making a motion, I will make a motion that we will issue bonuses to employees as discussed after consulting with an attorney on a matter. That's the motion.
Second.
Seconded there, all in favor?
Aye.
Now we need a motion at 9:02, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop recording.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Recording
I'm gonna stop
stopped.
recording. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Laurie.
And Lori.
And Judy.